Good afternoon and welcome to another Hot Jobs with us here at Higher Military. It's really lovely to see you this afternoon. How are you? I am Lucy Robinson and I am one of the recruiters here. And today with me is Amber Pitkin. Hey, Amber, how are you?
I'm good, Lucy. How are you? We're
Not
dressed
bad.
festive.
We've come as Christmas today.
We did not plan it.
We're bringing the spirit and the cheer, the post-Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas spirit and cheer to you guys. So welcome. It's really lovely to have you with us. As we begin our introductions and we tell you what this live is about today, please do drop any questions that you have at all for us. Now, you may think, well, I don't know you, so I may not have any questions for you. But okay, share where you are watching from. Share if you are interested in a Skillbridge internship or a permanent position. Across either of those, which career field, which industry. And then when it comes to the job search, do you have a question about the resume, a question about salary negotiation, a question about Skillbridge, a question about interview technique and skills? You name it, we can probably give you some guidance around it and offer our suggestions. We really want to be able to support you as best as possible. As we get going today, if you haven't joined us before and you don't know what we're about, Amber and I both work for Higher Military. We both support the military affiliated demographic and population in finding roles within corporate America. But what does that actually mean? Because we are not career counselors. So we don't say, hey, Bob, great to see you. Oh, you're looking for this job. Let us find you this role. The way that we work is corporate companies come to us because they specifically want to hire from within the military affiliated demographic. They offer us the positions to work on, to resource for, to talent source for, and we submit to them great and qualified candidates from the military affiliated population. So if you are looking for a position at the moment and you haven't had a chance to, take a look at our website, highermilitary.us. On our careers page, you will see everything that we are recruiting for at the moment. There's a Skillbridge page and there is a permanent jobs page. If there's nothing there for you right now, and I totally get it because there isn't always, please do consider joining our talent pool, because that is where your details go into our database. And the first thing that Amber and I do these days when we get a new position is we type in, logistics manager, Richmond, Virginia. And that brings up everybody who is searching or who's registered with us. And we go to you as motivated candidates, first of all. We've got so many people joining us right now. Hey, Andrew. Hey, Ronald. Desita. I hope I've got your name right. Jeff from Richmond, Virginia, all over. It's really nice to see you guys. Before we get started, as we go into the roles, if you hear something that you think, yes, I'm interested in that, I'd like to know more, and we would love to share the URL to the job description. When you hear that, please do say which role you're specifically interested in, because if you put interested, we come back after the event to give you the information, and we don't necessarily know what we were talking about at that point in time when you said interested and you put your hand up. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping. But Amber, we were going to have a conversation this afternoon.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about resumes.
We are. So everybody has a resume. Everybody submits their resume. But what we are finding, and we found across, the tenure of our time here at Higher Military, is for those who have never really made many applications into the civilian world before, they're not really aware of, for want of a better word, the formula of success and the way to get your resume to the top of the pile. We call it targeting or tailoring, or making your resume bespoke to the role to which you're applying. But often, we've been doing this for a while, so it's kind of second nature to us. But as we are talking to new candidates on a daily basis, it often is like a light bulb just flashes above their head and like, oh my gosh, I'd never thought of it like that. That could be the reason why I'm making all of these applications and I'm not really getting much back apart from some auto responses. So do you want to kick off, Amber, and you get going on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say, like, I had a hard time. What was it? not last year, I guess that's when I first transitioned, but a year prior to that, when I first started looking for SkillBridge programs. And then because it's very similar in terms of applying. I mean, I was just sending out the same resume over and over and over again. It was just a synopsis of what I did in the military. And I just expected or assumed that the company would translate what I did and understand what it was that I did in the military. And I quickly learned after getting into this position that is actually not how it works. And they don't know what a logistics officer does. They don't know what a operations manager is in the military, because it's very different. And so the targeting your resume is essentially, and I always describe it like this because for me it's the best way that I can explain it to, if I had to explain it to my 12-year-old son. It's the job description is asking a question, right? It's saying, I'm X company and I need this person to do these tasks. I need them to have these qualifications, this level of experience or years of experience. And this is what I need to solve, these problems. And it'll list out what your job duties are going to be. And so I take that and I essentially write my resume as an answer to those questions. I go through my resume and I highlight how I meet those skills, whether it's, the education, I meet the qualifications and years of experience, or, previous, duties. And so I kind of just go from there and I answer it that way.
And essentially, that is what targeting the resume is. It's highlighting your personal experience as a consequence of the roles and responsibilities and certifications and qualifications that are identified on the job description. And I feel like a lot of people haven't quite made that connect. And that is where the disconnect lies, in the sense of people share what they've done, not what they are able to do, not the reflection of themselves as it relates to the qualifying criteria and roles and responsibilities. And it's all about taking those and highlighting where you've had that specific experience, so that the recruiter, when they go through it, I always liken it to a matching pairs game. They're looking for X, Y, and Z, and they're looking for the words that actually were on the job description, not your translation of them, not you paraphrasing or writing it in your own words because you don't want to plagiarize. Those are the keywords. And that's what we scan for. Our eyes are predetermined to look for those. And if our eyes aren't doing it, and we've got lots to work through, or, we've done it in the case of role tech or IT roles, we do the Control F function. Mm-hmm. And if you have used your own language to identify the same thought or sentiment, then we don't find it. And it can be as simple as that. So it really is being able to position yourself as a really competitive candidate who acknowledges and has seen what the job description is, and you've made it as easy as possible for the recruiter to basically go, yes, this candidate goes into the must interview pile. That's what we try and achieve.
Yeah. And I will also add to that, and this is just a personal tip, right? From both the recruiting side and as a person, if I were applying for a job, if I have a PMP, right, I have a project management professional certification, and I'm applying to a job that's asked for a PMP, but it also asks for 12 years of experience in project management. Yes, you can put PMP and project management under your skills, right? Your skills section of your resume, but you absolutely need to spell out your experience in project management within your work history. Because just listing it as a skill isn't enough to get you across the recruiter's, desk in terms of solidifying you for even a screening or anything like that, especially if, we're looking for project management experience and then, we go through the work history and it doesn't mention any kind of project management experience at all. So make sure you're aligning not just the skills that you're listing, because those are just words. You want to make sure those words are also included in your work experience that you have expanded on underneath.
100%. And we've got a question here from Andrew, and I'm going to do my very best to answer it, Andrew. And my very best may not be good enough right now. I love that you shared that a pay for service just told you this. Good for them. There's lots of organizations out there that will support the military population free of charge. My advice, unless you need a resume for a very specific or very niche position and you don't know where to start, is go to one of the very many VSOs, Hire Heroes USA, USA Transitions, Vet Jobs, or we have a great hookup with somebody who we both absolutely adore. And his name, I can never say his last name, Amber, so I'm going to leave you to say Brad's last name.
His Brad Taki, I think is how it is.
I think
CHI, yeah.
Yeah. And he has a wonderful product. It's a resume builder product, and it's best military resume. That's what it is, isn't it? Absolutely. I love the fact that they're telling you that your resume will be filtered out. You know what? I'm not going to say that that doesn't happen, because I'm not going to put my name to something that I'm not 100% sure of. There are organizations, especially when they have got hundreds and hundreds of applications, it's just not viable for somebody to put eyes on every application. But I'm telling you, for an awful lot of positions out there, a recruiter is behind the ATS. A recruiter looks at everything. And if you're working with a staffing agency or a recruiter agency, we tend to have conversations with people who at first glance, we don't necessarily know why they've made an application. But Amber and I work on the assumption that they've obviously applied for a reason, unless they are worlds apart, miles apart from the actual job description. We will always send to connect and say, hey, let's have a chat, because we have learned over time that the person behind the resume often blows us away in terms of experience. They just don't know how to communicate their skills and experience. But that doesn't answer your question. Your question was AST formatting. Well, AST formatting, my understanding, is abstract syntax trees. And then KSA, E. Key skills, A. I'm not really 100% sure. Essentially, what did it say? How to get through these filters. My resume will never be seen. The AI filtering seems to be doing the filtering these days. Okay, so this is my suggestion, is take the job description and take your current resume and use something like Brad's product, Best Military Resume. Feed both of them in and see the product that comes out, because his is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best resume builder that we have ever come across. And his is specifically created for the federal resume and the civilian resume. And what he creates as a consequence of you putting in the job description and your resume and your own resume is one that absolutely should pass through any applicant tracking system, as long as you have the qualification criteria in your toolkit. I feel like there are lots of people out there scaremongering. It's a hard market right now. I'm not gonna say it's a really hard market. It is a hard market. And so there are lots of people preying on that fact. And yeah, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't, but there are lots of organizations out there willing to help who will not put the fear of whatever into you in order to make you pay for their service. And if you want us to share those details, we can put that, if you drop another note, we can do that straight after this. But that's a really interesting one right now. Mm-hmm. What I would say to you also is when you're looking at roles, like LinkedIn is a good indicator. They've just changed their algorithm. So you can see how many people have actually made an application. It used to be started an application. Now it's made an application. So you can see how popular the positions are. You can see, often it says over 100 applications have been made to this. So, that kind of manages your expectations. And going back to what we said about targeting the resume, which is a really basic way of what these people have blown your heads with in like science. It's all about creating a really competitive application and highlighting your skill set. There's also one last thing I would share, which is not just to say, if they ask for a PMP or if they ask for project management experience, putting it down, is making sure that there's sort of like a Google XYZ acronym, which is that you've got it, what you've done with it, and what you've delivered or achieved with it. So sort of X, Y, Z, you build upon your bullet, not your military eval bullet, but you build upon your bullet to really showcase your strength in that area. And not as if you've just literally thrown it in there because it's on the job description. You've given your relevant detail. Amber, I've talked a lot. Anything that you want to add to that?
No, I completely agree. And again, there are tons of resources out there. Luciana will always tell you, go to these organizations. She mentioned when Hire Heroes USA, they will absolutely help you with your resume. And take advantage of the free resources. Please, I do strongly encourage you to seek out the free resources before you ever invest a whole lot of money into something that may not come to fruition in terms of a job. So, and we've seen a lot of success with Best Military Resume. He posts success stories all the time. So I would highly suggest checking it out.
Yeah, and I know Krista has already acknowledged this, but Warren, I wanted to pick up on this as well, because it's all using AI. So you've said, do you see an increase in using ChatGPT to create a candidate summary? Personally, no, because that is always the first thing that I work on when we're working with candidates, is the summary, because that should be the piece that is absolutely targeted and tailored to the actual role. And we have an article on our careers page, which is called How to Target Your Resume, essentially. And it really breaks it down and it identifies what a recruiter wants to see in that elevator pitch at the very top. And the Cliff's Note version is, the too long didn't read is, go straight down to the qualifications and make sure that everything in the qualifications is identified up there in your professional summary. You should build it around that. Yeah, use an AI tool to craft it first of all, but make sure that that is your kind of like your starter for 10, your 50%, that you must not use that, because there's lots of syntax and lots of grammar that is immediately recognizable as an AI. So I would want to just work on that yourself. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, Amber and I both acknowledge we use AI on the daily these days. And, a year ago, it just wasn't even part of our toolkit. And now we use it all the time. You just have to add your own flavor, slant, personality to computer created or computer generated verbiage. Daniel, I hope it was just you. I hope we haven't been lost, and I hope that you're back again. Alan said, I heard that the current market is not the best, but come January, employers should really start hiring again. I hope so, Alan. That would be nice. But what I will tell you is on the direct hire side, I'm more busy now than I've been in quite a long time. But it really depends on the space and the career field, the industry. But if you're in the market for roles in Detroit, I'm the person for them. I've got lots of them right now, maybe not. But yes, I really hope that that is the case. That would be lovely for all of us. Amber, and Krista's given us, look, HR's in with the information, knowledge, skills, abilities, education. There you go. That kind of goes back to what we were saying in terms of targeting it, utilizing your experience, highlighting your career as it relates to the job description. Jeff's also mentioned that for vets, there is, you're eligible for the first year of LinkedIn Premium for free. So definitely take advantage of that if you have not before. That is a great tool to have as well. We've had lots of questions. We've got 10 minutes to talk about our jobs. Shall I go first?
Yes, absolutely. We'll get through it. And again, as we go through it, Lucy's going to tell you again, these are just a highlight reel. Look, go to hiremilitary.us and they're all listed there.
Yeah, they really are. So for permanent positions, we have a great role for anybody with military legal experience, or if you've got a JD in law and some legal experience, not necessarily in the military, but this would really suit somebody separating as a paralegal, as an example. We have a senior complex claims adjuster vacancy. And they are recruiting across multiple locations. So Atlanta, Houston, Jersey City, Philadelphia, and Chicago right now. You need to have about 4 to 5 years worth of legal experience. That is about it. If you have the ability to think critically, have that background, don't necessarily need to have a law degree, but if you do, more's the better. These are awesome positions and they are recruiting and acting very fast right now. With all of our permanent positions, also, the salaries are on the job descriptions on our website. So take a look. And if you are interested and want to hear more, please do let us know. Drop a comment in the chat or you can send us a DM. This is a great position. This is working with Congress. This is downtown DC. It is on site 5 days a week. I'm going to share that right now, but a business continuity specialist. This role has been open for a little while because they're looking for exactly the right person. Ideally, a veteran who has worked in sort of emergency management or disaster recovery in the military space. And the one area that you have to have experience of is creating and writing a COOP, continuity of operation plan. You have to have experience of creation and drafting yourself, as well as the execution and delivery. They've got a couple of other requests and requirements in terms of a couple of NISTs, but that really is what they are looking for, that continuity of operations. And we're talking in the IT cyberspace here. So if you want to be in DC, if you have that experience, if you are interested in hearing more, please do drop a comment below, because I would love to connect with you. I mentioned that we are heavy on the roles in Detroit. Let me tell you, one of our clients who we've worked with for a couple of years has a great new initiative program that is happening. And they need in their facility an operations manager, a plant manager, a health and safety manager, an HR manager, and an HR generalist. This is well, ideally, they're looking for people with logistics and manufacturing backgrounds, but not essential. They really want to hire from the military demographic for these positions. So the facility is right on the lake in Grosse Pointe, or just west of Grosse Pointe. And these roles are open, and they're looking to hire and turn people around, have them start at the beginning of the year. So if you are looking for a position in Detroit and this sounds of interest, I would love to hear from you today. I have multiple roles with the Defense Logistics Agency. These are nationwide, and you do need to have an element of finance experience, and these are GS positions. So these are federal government. Best military resume would be awesome here, but we don't need to submit candidates with federal resumes, do we, Amber? No, we don't. You just come up with your normal resume. And we've got roles in Whitehall, Ohio, Richmond, Virginia, Battle Creek, Michigan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, and Fort Belvoir in Virginia. So if those sound of interest, connect. In addition, if you have a TS clearance and you're looking for an IT role right now, we've got DevOps engineers in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, and Fort Meade, Maryland, as well as a network engineer role in Columbia, Maryland, so just southwest of Baltimore. And finally, I'm going to skip very quickly to Skillbridge, even though I've just remembered I told Amber I'd do this at the very end, but you know, best laid plans and all that. We are working on 3 Skillbridge internships. Amber will tell us more about Skillbridge in a second. But if you're already familiar with the program and you know that you want to get locked into something, you would do far, far, far worse than connecting with veteran service brands. They are one of our favorite companies that we work with. They have a business developer role in Baltimore. That's hybrid. And it is warm lead. It is not cold lead at all. They have got so much inbound business that they are dropping the ball essentially, and they are looking for somebody to manage all of that for them and to close those deals. We have 2 other positions with them, both operations management positions, one in Kansas City in Missouri and one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those are rolling your sleeves up and working alongside the current owners in their parking lot striping operations. So you will learn how to parking lot stripe, but also they are looking for people to come in with the military mindset, the aptitude, the attitude, who can demonstrate those leadership capabilities in terms of the warm leads coming in, potentially managing conversations, relationships, you know, that client piece as well. So it's kind of a hybrid role in the sense of on the ground, getting your hands dirty, but the office business growth piece as well. So we would love to connect you with those organizations if that's of interest. Tag, you're it. Over to Skillbridge.
All right, perfect. So I'm going to talk about Skillbridge. Like Lucy said, I'm going to cover quickly the highlights of Skillbridge. I get this question every time we do one of these. So Skillbridge is an internship program, but unfortunately it is only for those who are still active duty military who are transitioning within the last 180 days of their contract. So unfortunately, it is not, you're not eligible if you're already a veteran, and you're not eligible if you're a spouse. They do have other internships programs out there for spouses and veterans. If you do a quick search, I know there's a list that comes up of different organizations who have opportunities like that. So I'm targeting those who are transitioning within the next, we'll say 6 to 12 months. So if that is you, I'm going to highlight just a couple roles. But again, we have all of our roles listed on our website. So the first one is I'm going to go into technical support engineer. This is a position that is remote for the SkillBridge. This is with our partners at Datadog. So they are looking for people who want to become technical support engineers within their company, work with their clients, and provide demos and presentations and technical support within their realm. So this position is remote for the SkillBridge. However, the full-time role at the end does require an on-site presence. It is a hybrid position, so you do have to be located in Denver, Colorado, San Francisco, California, New York City, New York, or Boston, Massachusetts. And you do have to be willing to work 1 to 2 days, weekend shifts, essentially a month. The qualifications for this, they ideally are looking for someone who is proficient in Python or another scripting language. If it's Java or Bash, ability to debug code, be able to interpret lines of code essentially would be helpful. And then if you have a foundation of Linux experience, that's fantastic as well. Again, that is with our partners at Datadog. It is SkillBridge. It is those 4 locations. They're listed on our website: Colorado, California, New York, and Massachusetts. And if you're interested, just send me a message. The next role that I have, I'm going to continue with the DLA roles. Lucy talked about the direct hire. We do have a SkillBridge program with DLA. It is fantastic. And like Lucy said, we don't need a federal resume. We just need a regular resume. One of the things that DLA wants to do is they want to bring more service members into their program, into their organization, and not have to hassle with the federal resume, honestly. So we have a SkillBridge program with them. They're looking for different roles in the finance realm. So we're looking for financial analysts, business analysts, financial liaisons, accountants, and accountants who specialize in accounting systems. The only 2 that have very stringent requirements are the accounting roles. You can take a look at those on our website, but they do have positions across all those locations: Fort Belvoir, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, Philadelphia, New Cumberland, Pennsylvania, Columbus, Ohio, and Battle Creek, Michigan, and also San Antonio, Texas. But I will say San Antonio does have the least amount of positions. So if you're in one of those other areas or interested in those are really hot right now. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. So send me a message if you are interested. And then finally, I have another remote position. This one is truly remote. This is SkillBridge remote and full-time remote afterwards. This is for a project analyst with our partners at American Microgrid Solutions. They are looking for somebody who is interested in renewable energy. They do want someone who has kind of a technical background, whether it's engineering, electronics, something like that, in terms of basically being able to have really good analytical skills. They do want you to be good in Excel and PowerPoint, because they do a lot of their tracking in Excel and their presentations to their clients within PowerPoint. So essentially, they bring power solutions to different hubs, whether it's communities, critical medical facilities, local government facilities, multifamily housing units. They really just want someone who's passionate, who has a strong technical background, and is really excited about renewable energy and has those Excel skills. So if you are interested, again, that is remote. Send me a message and I will send you the link after. And that's what I have, Lucy.
Oh my gosh. And we finished just at the 2:30 mark, well, Eastern time anyway, 12:30 for you. It's probably lunchtime. Thank you everybody for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure. So many people here, so many questions that we've left unanswered. We will just drop you a quick message afterwards, a quick comment, just so that we can acknowledge what you've asked us. We shall see you next Tuesday. Please do join us again, where hopefully we will have new roles to share and a different conversation ahead of time. Have a lovely week, everybody. And we will be back next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye.